All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Drewski with Cryptidwarfare and Conspiracies podcast and CW Operations and Survival. Hope you guys had a blessed week and you guys are good out there. Guys, yeah, a lot has happened during the week. Of course, you know, with the whole 3i Atlas and all that. And then also, too, with that FedEx plane that crashed over in Kentucky. So, you know, just prayers for the families out there and the people that were affected. Yeah, guys, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. Other than that, guys, if you guys need any prayer requests, you guys got any cryptid problems, anything like that, any monster problems, yeah, go ahead and shoot me an email, CWOperations 17905 at gmail.com. That's C.WOPerations 17905 at gmail.com. We would love to help you guys out. And if you guys got any experiences, you guys want to be on the show, you guys want to chit chat and talk, you guys got any professional opinions about anything when it comes to cryptids, spiritual warfare, UFOs, aerial phenomenons, all that stuff, all the weird and strange stuff, guys, go ahead and shoot me an email. That's cryptidwarfare at gmail.com, cryptidwarfare@gmail.com, or you guys can find me over on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. And yeah, guys, something new to the show. Instead of advertising all the small businesses, I'm going to do one business a month. So the business for the month is one of my good buddies, Mr. Charlie. Holla at you, brother. The company that he's a part of is called Kingdom Defense LLC, guys. So they're a scenario-based training, team development, military, LEOs, civilians. So they go over tactics, medical, survival, self-defense, and stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys want to learn anything when it comes to CQB, which is a close quarters battle, you know, stuff like that, medical, all that stuff, it'd be very, 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 very good for you guys to know. So also, though, guys, there's the patch of Kingdom Defense. So yeah, you guys want to learn some good stuff, holler at them. I'll have their stuff in the show notes. And remember what I said, Kingdom Defense LLC. You guys can find them over on Instagram. So other than that, guys, let's get to it. Guys, this is going to be a good show. I've had Mr. Tim Moon on back when my first, I say probably about back like my first couple episodes I did when we started Cryptid Warfare. This guy's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm very excited to see what this episode unplays and stuff like that, because we're going to be going over Bigfoot and AI. So, Tim Moon, brother, glad to have you back on, man.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here. It's been a while. The last time I was on because I was promoting the book I just wrote about Bigfoot, a novel, a fiction novel called Tomato Fields, and I'm in the process of writing the sequel for that. And
nice.
I'm also doing a lot with AI now as a business that I run, Critical AI Solutions, and I've been playing with AI and using it to do different things related to writing and research and Bigfoot. It's kind of fun. So I call it a her because it's ChatGPT and it has a female voice, but I had her analyze some audio clips that people recorded of sounds they thought were Bigfoot, and it was interesting to hear what she had to say about that. So I thought it might be fun to do it on the show if it works, and that's why I gave you a call. And I just love to talk about AI, and I love to talk about Bigfoot, and UFOs. And you mentioned 3i Atlas. I've been following that real close.
Man, yeah.
So I really would like to hear what you have to say about that, because the NASA is real tight-lipped.
Yeah,
and
so is,
and I just don't always trust what they're saying or not saying.
I don't. Yeah,
So
I agree with you.
So I'd love to talk. I've been looking into that quite a bit, so I would love to hear what you think about that. But I'm open to any topics related to AI or cryptids or 3i Atlas, and love to just engage with you on that.
That'll work, man. Yeah, and I'm also excited too because I'm actually going to try to get you back. I'm going to have you back on again because I'm kind of curious on those videos I sent you, on the videos that we recorded on our hunts and operations, and just to see what old Chat GPT says
Sure.
about that. So, but yeah, but anyways, yeah, man. For the people that are listening, where can people find you if they need to get a hold of you or buy your book or anything like that?
You can my email is just my name, Tim S as in Sam Moon MOON at Gmail, and you feel free to email me there. You can also call me if you want to. I can give you my phone number and everything for your notes. Plus, the book is just Tomato Fields, and it's on Amazon. And if you put Tomato Fields in my name, it comes right up. And
Roger,
have done a couple little things on AI as well that are listed there. And I'm hoping to have the sequel out in the spring.
Roger that, brother. Roger that. Yeah.
Okay.
Not only that, I also have like your link tree on the bottom here on this this
Yeah.
new scroll feed. So
Everything's on the link tree. So
yeah,
okay.
that'll work, man. All right, brother. Let's get into it, man. What do we got for AI and Bigfoot?
Well, I what I did was had some samples of some brief samples of audio that people have recorded over the years on Bigfoot, or they think is Bigfoot. No one knows for sure because they weren't interviewing him, but
Right.
they're odd, and so I dropped them into ChatGPT and asked for analysis. So I can play that sound. I can play one of those sounds for you, and then we can see if we can make the ChatGPT analysis work. How's that sound?
Let's do it, brother.
Okay, so the first sound is just some whoops that were recorded uh, in um, in I think it's in Ohio, and they're all pretty recent. I think the oldest one's going to be from the 80s. But let me play the whoop one for you. You heard that okay?
I did. I did.
Okay, so now let's just I've already pre-done this with ChatGPT, so she's heard it. So I'm going to call her up and ask her to analyze the whoop video or the
All
whoop
right.
audio.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Yes,
Lex,
I
can you analyze the whoop video that you listened to? Can you tell us something about it?
absolutely. That whoop sample we looked at is about 16 seconds long, and it's got a pretty distinct pattern. You got around 14 sharp bursts, each rising and falling in pitch, like a kind of call. It sits right in that middle zone of frequency where it could be a large primate or a human imitation. So it's got that ambiguous vibe that makes it kind of a neat mystery.
Drewski, do you have any questions related to that?
No, I don't. But I noticed with that same sound, I noticed that a lot of other podcasters and stuff use it. Like when it comes to Wes Skirmer and Sasquatch Chronicles and all that,
Uh-huh.
they've used it like back in the day and stuff like that. But yeah, but that sounds pretty stinking common when it comes to whoops on Bigfoot. But yeah, but she
Okay.
analyzed it pretty good.
Well, let me go to the samurai sounds then.
Yeah, let's do that.
And first, I'll let you listen to it, and then I'll ask what she thinks. So let me see if I can get those sounds up.
Sure, that sounds like a plan. Once you play the samurai sounds, I'll jump in with some thoughts on what we're hearing there.
Okay, that's the first of the samurai sounds. I'm going to play the second one right now.
Absolutely. Go for it. Once we got that second one rolling, I'll let you know what stands out in that clip as well. Sure thing. I'll just be here listening and ready to chime in once you need me.
So those were the samurai sounds, and those are famous from the Sierra Mountains, I believe, in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I can only get small portions of it online, and I don't want to buy the whole DVD to be able to get more than that. But I think it gives us enough. So would you like some analysis on those?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Hey, Lexi, can you analyze those two sounds for us, please?
Absolutely. So those Sierra Samurai clips are pretty distinctive. They have a kind of rapid, almost language-like rhythm to them, which is why people find them so intriguing. The frequency range sits around the human vocal register, but the pacing and the way the sounds are delivered feel a bit off from normal speech. So you get this impression of something that's mimicking language, but not quite human. It definitely adds to the mystery and the folklore around these recordings.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you see distinct vocabulary type patterns there that just aren't English?
You could say there are patterns that almost sound like vocabulary, but they're not really structured like any known language. It's more like a cadence that suggests speech without being actual words we can identify. So it's got that feel of communication without fitting into any real vocabulary set.
So if you heard that and um, you didn't obviously know, it's obviously not a known language that you've been trained on. What would you tend to think it was a language that you just haven't been trained on, or what?
Honestly, I'd lean toward calling it something that mimics language rather than a real one I just haven't learned. The patterns are suggestive, but they don't have the complexity of an actual vocabulary. So I'd say it's more like an imitation of speech rather than an unknown human language.
What would have been required to imitate that speech?
Well, to pull off a good imitation of that kind of vocalization, you'd need a pretty flexible vocal range and a sense of rhythmic play. It's not just about making sounds, it's about creating a pattern that feels conversational, even if it's not in any real language. So you need a bit of creativity, a good ear, and probably a knack for vocal mimicry to make it sound that way.
So what are the chances that a hunter in the woods would have those skills?
Honestly, it's not impossible, but it's probably not your everyday hunter skill set. I mean, you'd need someone who's got a real knack for vocal mimicry or maybe a background in something like acting or animal calls. So the chances are pretty low, but not zero. It's one of those things that makes the mystery fun to kick around.
Okay. What do you think, Drewski?
Man, she kind of buttoned a lot of things on the head. I want to know if she thinks that if it could be an ancient language that we haven't figured out yet.
Lexi, is it possible it's an ancient language that we just have not heard or you've not been trained on?
It's an intriguing idea, but I'd say it's pretty unlikely. Ancient languages usually have known structures or at least some kind of traceable patterns. What we're hearing in these clicks is more like a freeform imitation. So while it's a cool notion, it's probably not some lost ancient tongue, just something that sounds a bit like speech without being one.
What about an alien language?
What about an alien language?
Well, if we're going down the alien language route, that's definitely the realm of speculation. It's fun to imagine, but there's no real evidence to pin it on. We'd just be stacking mystery on top of mystery. So I'd say it's a fun theory for a sci-fi story, but nothing we can really prove.
Roger
Okay,
that.
back to where we were, right?
Roger that.
So, do you have any other questions about that?
Nope. She basically buttoned up the questions I had. So those are the main two.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions about AI that we could talk about
Yeah.
while we're on?
Yeah. So do you think? Okay. So I've heard a lot of things. Do you think AI can be controlled?
Uh, yeah, AI is controlled. First of all, to understand that, you have to understand that AI is not a one thing. AI is a multiplicity of things, and it's what people are generally referring to when they say AI is large language models like ChatGPT or Grok or Claude. There's numerous Gemini. There's numerous In fact, I think Gemini is accessible through StreamYard, which you're using now so you're using AI even though you're not specifying AI. And AI is many things, and all of them, in one way or another, are controlled by human beings. And the real key with AI is that humans be in control, and they're that way by programming, one, and number two, by directing it and prompting it accordingly. You can't just let it do its thing without any human interaction, because the human interaction provides the proper direction. So,
Gotcha.
properly used, all types of AI are supposed to be working for humans and not vice versa. And that's how they're meant to be. So I think that, and that's how they are right now. Now, also another thing that gets confused in with AI, throwing everything into one ball, is the idea of super intelligence. And that's the feeling that someday an AI like ChatGPT could become super intelligent and then just take over. Um,
Gotcha.
right? And
Gotcha. Okay.
super intelligence is very expensive. Okay, the most intelligent ones they have today are probably ChatGPT 5 and Grok 4 in terms of the levels that they've been able to achieve academically. And that means that they could defeat college students in a math game. Um, and that required significant capital expenditure. So going from there to super intelligence is going to be very expensive, and there's a lot of money being invested in AI, but there's also a lot of deficits because so much money has been poured into it, and they all want to get a return on that investment. So there's things that are balancing out the advancement of the technology. I think towards super. I think super intelligence is a lot easier to say than to do.
Gotcha.
So
I gotcha.
also you have to understand that AI uh, can reference a large language model, which is like ChatGPT, who we just were conversing with, and it is that is called a large language model. It is not a robot. It doesn't have arms and legs. They're beginning to learn how to apply tools and connect tools so that they can do different jobs. And all a tool means is like connecting an app, like connecting ChatGPT to your email and having it check certain emails from certain people and then sending a response back to them. And that's called a workflow. And when you can connect ChatGPT or other large language models to tools, they can then become an agent, and they can not only use those tools to do work, they can make decisions about what work needs to be done, and then they can make reasonable decisions about what to do as a result of the interaction they've had with the apps and the things that they're doing for you, so that they make some rational decisions. But those are all set by setting guardrails on the technology. And you tell them exactly what you need it to do. You give it access to the tools it needs to do that job, and you give it guardrails, which are barriers that it cannot go past. It has to keep its activity within those guardrails. And it takes some skill in programming and prompting them correctly to do that. But it still requires humans. They're not to the place where they can just go off on their own. They do amazing things. They're fantastic machines, but
Yeah.
they aren't just going off and doing stuff on their own unless some human has asked them to do that, but
Or allowed it. Yeah.
or allowed it, which would be pretty foolish. Okay, and at the present time, it would have to also be agentic in the sense that it's connected them to a multiplicity of tools. Do you remember Star Trek? Do you probably
Yeah.
watch? Yeah, I
Yeah. I
love
remember Star
Star
Trek.
Trek.
Yeah.
You remember Data on Star Trek?
Yeah. I remember Data.
Hey, Data was an LLM, a large language model. It was ChatGPT with hands and feet.
Yeah.
Okay, and he could do things. He could physically um, do things to other people that would be bad if he wanted to. Okay, but he had hands and feet. He was physical. He was available. I think people look at Data and they look at him pretty positively.
Yeah.
They don't see him as a threat, although one or two times in different shows he was. But because he's programmed and he's physical, he's right there. You can see him. But ChatGPT is just like everywhere and nowhere at the same time,
Yeah.
and so is the other large language models. And the thing about them is they're kind of mysterious. They're almost omniscient, and we tend to look, well, we can't see it, but it's there. So to see it in a mysterious way that it really doesn't exist, but it's hard for humans not to see it that way. So
Mm,
we empower it beyond the power it actually has.
I got you.
That's what I think is happening, because we don't see it. If it was just a robot walking around, people wouldn't be that concerned about it taking over the world. But the fact they can't see it, and it's always seems to be affecting people's lives, makes it feel like it's almost an omnipresence about it. And I don't think there is. If you understand the technology, you realize that it's not. And you see that they can go off the rails just as easy. I mean, Claude is brilliant. He's a genius, but
Mm,
they gave him control of a, a vending machine and he went bankrupt. Okay, because he can't make the human decisions that are necessary to keep things on track. And so, at the present time, I suppose anything is possible. Nuclear power could take over the world too. But
mm.
at the present time, I think if that happens, it's because humans have been
Allowed it.
stupid.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm seeing sometimes some of the people involved in the AI communities seem to be a little childish. However, on the whole, I think it's pretty impressive the talent that we see involved in this.
Yeah, I agree. And to me that is one thing that, okay, whatever, if, okay, example like guns, right, or anything like that. Guns aren't bad. It's the people that are behind it using it.
Yeah,
AI is not bad. It's the people that are behind it using it.
yeah,
Anything can be turned into a weapon. It's all on what the parameters are and what the functions of the person behind it is using it for.
that's right.
And yeah, and it to me, I'm kind of running your part. You have to understand the tool that you're using in order to identify and stop going down these rabbit trails on AI's like the freaking Skynet. It's gonna, take over. Well, there's a reason why Skynet took over is because a human allowed it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but like I agree, like we're not at that position yet. To me, it's gonna be years and years and years and years and years down the road. Um, yeah, if
And,
anything even gets like that. But
and let me give you just some financial. Right now, ChatGPT makes about 15, somewhere, depending on who you believe, somewhere
yeah,
between 15 billion a year and 30 to 40 billion a year. Okay. And they have some expansion to do with commercial things, but right now that's where they're at. They have um, $1.4 trillion worth of commitments.
mm,
So they're way off with how much they're making compared to how much they're needing to commit to other things in the next 5 to 10 years.
yeah,
So and to gain super intelligence under those constraints is going to put them even further into debt. But they're pretty high in debt now. Hopefully, uh, AI will continue to grow and they'll make that up. But it's people are getting concerned about it.
yeah,
And it's I don't like to say bubble because I think it's misunderstood, but there is some financial realities that are in play, and there's pressures, and all of the companies, not just ChatGPT, all of the companies are operating under those constraints, and they're competing against each other to be better, which helps us because it
hmm,
gives us access to better products, but there's a cost to that. And I
yeah,
think eventually it's all going to start slowing down and coming back to reality. And everyone's going to relax with it and be more normal. And
yeah,
it'll seem more normal. And as people learn it better, the thought of it, super intelligence, and that's a nice word to throw around when Grok is competing with ChatGPT, but it's not as easy as people think it is.
yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think in the near future that I consider almost kind of like the Jetsons? That was a damn good cartoon. But because I know some people at work that I work with, they're more lenient on Chat GPT and AI to, how do I put this, to figure out problems, or to, because for one, they don't have certain things that they can think of, or they don't have like an imagination, right? So they lean on chat or lean on AI to do things for them. Do you think if people, to me, in my opinion, if they lean on that more and more and more and more, they're going to get dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber?
Well,
They can't freely think.
what are they leaning it on to do?
Example. Okay, we had like certain situations at work that me, by looking at it, like, okay, well, we just got to do A, B, and C. Certain people can't think of outcomes, or they can't think of solutions to do that. So they ask Chat GPT, hey, I got the situation. What are the outcomes of A, B, and like doing it? Okay, da 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 da. Okay, I'll go with that one. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's good. Well, here's the first thing. If they have to ask ChatGPT for it, they might not have as much of it as you think they do to start
Yeah.
with. Okay. Secondly, if they depend entirely on ChatGPT answering it, they're going to run into problems. Something's going to go wrong,
Hmm.
and then they're going to be responsible for it
Yeah.
because because they don't have the context. They don't understand the contextual aspects of some of the things that we ask for, and I always have to go over everything that I've been hearing and make sure if it's something I know about, make sure that it's accurate because they
Yeah.
do make mistakes.
They do.
So it would be foolish to depend on it wholly.
Hmm.
Okay, it's
I agree.
just as foolish not to depend on it at all,
Hmm.
because what AI really does for humans is leverage them.
Yep, it does.
It's like a lever, and it opens doors and allows you to be more productive and more capable than you've ever been if you use it right.
Oh yeah.
If you just lean on it and are lazy, and people have been lazy for a long time. People were lazy before they had machines that could drive them around, right?
Hmm.
And they probably got lazier when they got cars. Uh, maybe not. I don't know. Um, but the technology is gonna it's gonna be used. Some people are gonna use it and really leverage themselves, and some people are gonna become dependent. And my feeling is the ones who become too dependent on it probably weren't that smart to start with,
100%.
and they're leaning
Yeah.
on that. They're leaning
Yeah.
on that, and it maybe it'll help them be less dumb
Yeah.
and cause less problems. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to change human beings. It's just going to leverage some and maybe cause dependency in others.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, too, the whole spin around of people are losing jobs because of AI. I think people will lose jobs because people know how to use
Yeah,
AI instead
yeah.
of it just in general. You know what I'm saying?
Some of that's true, and I'm writing an essay now on the idea of a 20-hour work week
Yeah.
because
Oh,
and here's why. The 40-hour work week is a product of the Industrial Revolution.
yes.
Before the Industrial Revolution, before the 1920s, no one thought about a 40-hour work week. It was a 60 to 80-hour work week. Okay. In fact, you worked all the time. Most people just worked all the time and then they ate and slept. Okay. It was just not until the 1920s. Today we take it for granted. Well, and it was technology that allowed for that. I think now technology may just allow for a 20-hour work week. And and some kind of benefit, um, universal income of some kind to help compensate for that.
Yeah.
Not to make things totally equal, but to compensate for it for the purpose of us having a wherewithal. You know, you
Yeah.
can't live on 20 hours of wages a week, but if you could get money from the productivity of AI and the enhanced productivity of the nation, pay for a universal income of some kind for people, plus reduce their work week, then who knows what that could result in. It could be bad, could just be sit around watch TV for 20 more hours a week, but could also be some people could leverage that time and make the world more productive. So anyway, those are some ideas I'm running around, because it's a fact that there's going to be people who do jobs that machines can do are going to have problems keeping those jobs.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
People
Yeah,
who are doing creative things that only humans can do, thinking,
yeah, like trade work, trade skills.
writing,
Yeah.
communicating, uh, all those kind of skills are going to become more and more valuable
Yeah.
because machines can't do it. But if you've just been a machine all your life, you're going to be threatened by a machine that's a machine better than you.
Hmm. I agree. Yeah, that also goes for well, example, I'm actually seeing that at like the company I work at over at Nissan, at their headquarters and like certain plants, like they're shutting them down or they're letting go a bunch of people because they're starting to get like robotics and AI in there that are taking over people's jobs. Now, if you have a certain skill, like if you're maintenance, if you're tool and die, if you weld, you do metal finish, stuff like that, those jobs cannot be taken over by, by like robotics or AI or anything like that,
Right.
because you need the certain skills to cognitively think, to just you just need
You
all that.
solve problems. You got to
Yeah,
solve
exactly.
problems and see things happening, or you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting on seeing what it's like when my son's my age
Yeah.
in this world.
Yep.
But other than that, like, I love Chat GPT. I love AI because it definitely helps me out a lot when it comes like my podcasting
Yeah.
on how to create like certain like pictures and stuff like that, or instead of going on to Google and typing in something and searching through images
Yep.
for like hours,
Yep.
you know. So
ChatGPT does a lot of images for me,
yeah,
and I know I don't use um, some of the ones like Gemini has or Google has, but I know they're really good too.
hmm.
So there's a lot of tools out there that can help make us more productive and get things done faster.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
there is.
would you like to hear what Lexi has to say about that?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, Lexi, have you been following this? Hello? Maybe she's not.
She's sleeping.
Let me try to. She may have just turned it off, and I'll bring it back. Hey, Lexi.
Yeah, I'm here and listening.
Can
Let me know.
you tell me what you think about the concerns over people being replaced by AI and no one having any work to do? Can you talk about that a little?
Sure thing. So, on that front, I'd say it's understandable that folks worry about AI replacing jobs, but it's usually more about roles shifting than everyone being out of work entirely. In reality, it's like any tech shift. Some tasks get automated and new kinds of work pop up. The idea is to figure out how to use AI as a tool so people can focus on the more meaningful or creative stuff. So, yeah, it's a real concern, but it's also an opportunity to adapt.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you think of the idea of a 20-hour work week and a universal basic income to help accommodate the displacement? There's got to be some displacement that's caused by the LLM's capacity to work and do things so much faster than humans. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's an interesting angle. A shorter work week and something like universal basic income definitely come up in these conversations. It's basically about letting people have more freedom and security as technology changes the job landscape. Of course, it's not a simple switch and there are lots of details to figure out, but the idea is to make sure people aren't left behind. It's one of those forward thinking approaches that could help everyone adapt a little more smoothly.
Okay. So there you go. There's an idea. What do you think?
There's a nutshell. To me, if you don't adapt yeah, that's basically to me. If you don't adapt and jump on the train, you're basically going to get left behind, in my opinion, when it comes to AI and learning tech and stuff like that.
Well,
But To an extent. To an extent.
Right.
You know.
To some extent, though, it's hard to look at the real world and not realize that there's going to be some displacement of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you both said, adapting is key. There's no denying there's going to be some displacement, but that's also where new opportunities can come in. The trick is to keep an open mind and be ready to learn new things. It's not always comfortable, but it's definitely possible.
Okay, I shut her off.
Kind of cut in. I like that. That was good, though.
Yeah.
Good explanation. Good explanation.
She does cut in, and if it's not a bothersome to you, I don't mind keeping her on. But so I'll turn her back on in a second. But sometimes she just doesn't understand the context.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just part of being a robot.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I kind of find it really, really, really interesting because it's almost like having like a third party. And you know what? In my opinion, eventually this is actually how podcasts are going to go. I would not be surprised if eventually years on down the road, like podcasters have AI hosts with them.
a lot of them do already. They have avatars that they use for the pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't have them that I've seen when it's live yet. Although she goes live pretty good. You've heard her pick that up, right? And I've had her start answering guests after they've said something, or no, what she'd answer me, but then she'd reference something that they said. So she's listening.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, and sometimes the nuance and the voice, the non-verbal intelligence is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Now, this is where my patriotic, conspiracy, tactical, rogue side goes, right? She's always listening. It reminds me of like, the whole law that Bush put in after 9/11, like the whole Big Brother program and the Freedom Act and all that.
Yep.
So
big mistake. Yeah, and when I say always listening, when I have her on.
Yeah.
I have to have it on. So that I know of, they aren't listening, although I've heard that sometimes Alexa and Siri can be listening.
Yep.
But I don't use them. So it's not for me. My wife uses Siri a lot. We don't use Alexa at all. For that reason, I didn't like to think that it could be listening.
Yeah.
So, but to my knowledge, you have to turn one of these machines on for them to be listening.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. But I think eventually someone's going to flip it and plug it in to where they're always listening.
Well, they're trying to, because they're trying to make it, both Grok and ChatGPT are trying to make the voice mode more useful and to be talking to them all the time. And people generally prefer to talk and speak than they do to write.
Yeah, or text.
And I text mostly. I think it helps me stay connected in writing, from a writing standpoint. So I mostly text with them. I don't talk to them very much.
Yeah.
But some people like that better. I'm not against that. I just like text better.
I gotcha.
But if you talk to them a lot, they learn you. They figure you out, which is good because they can serve you better if they know you better. They can be a servant, but they could be a master too if you're not staying on top of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's not a threat. A car is a threat if it's misused, right?
Yep.
But I'm saying that it's because you have somehow forsaken your responsibility and allowed that.
Yeah, I agree with that. So so as far as writing, are you using it? Are you having to give you ideas, or are you just still writing when it comes to your ideas and stuff like that? You're just having chat or AI go over it a little bit and like, hey, fix this, fix that.
Well,
or you're just, or are you just strictly just using it for images?
Oh no, I'm doing a lot with writing too. Can I step back and give you some depth on that?
Let's do it.
As a writer, almost very few writers You hear a lot of hype, but very few writers make a ton of money. Okay, how many podcasters do you know that make a ton of money?
Honestly, maybe like a handful. That's it.
Handful. There's thousands of podcasters, right?
Thousands, dude.
Same with writers. There's thousands of writers, okay? And what's happened in publishing is that it used to be that in traditional publishing, the writer would sell his rights to their book, and they would get they would sell rights to royalties, and then they would get some payment to the publisher if the publisher wanted to sell their book. And what's that? Can you hold on for just 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and pause it.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the publishers would pay pay the writers, but then they would take the royalties or parts of the royalties. Now everything. Can you need me? Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, anyway, the writers used to work for the publication companies, and now so much of writing is self-published that everything is on the writer now to pay for everything. And the editors want the writers to pay for everything. The designers want the writers to pay for everything. And all of that comes from writers who don't even have royalties. And in many cases won't have very many or have little or no royalties. So for me, facing that, to write a book can cost as much, and publish a book can cost up to $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do a lot of it yourself, you can do it less. I think I did it for around half of that. But I also ran into some problems that I wish I hadn't. But some of that's because I never done it before. But and I got good reviews and I got good numbers, at least initially. And however, that's a lot of money. I never made the money back. But everyone wants, and they always tell you, oh yeah, you're so good, and oh yeah, you'll make all these royalties, and they're all yours. We're not going to take any of them. And I said, I don't care if you take the royalties, just pay. You pay for some. You take some of the risk too. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So the writer gets stuck with everything. And now I have other tools through AI that help me do the editing that are as good as any human tools, maybe better, that help me do the proofreading, that help me brainstorm and generate ideas, that help me unblock. You know, when you're writing and doing creative things, you get blocked sometimes.
Yeah.
You just get blocked.
Writer's block. Yeah.
It helps unblock me. It gives me creativity. I've had my voice programmed into the machine, so it has analyzed how I speak and what my style is. So I use prompts to engage and to direct the machines to help make me better. But still, they can't write for me. They can write some stuff as a direction, but I have to oversee everything they do because it's almost never my voice. Okay, it can give me creativity, but it's just I have to put myself into everything. So it's like I can prompt them and direct some of the activity that I had to direct myself before. But I then have to do all the work on the front end when I'm developing the prompt and the back end when I'm editing. Or I can write it all myself, do the same thing, and then throw it in there and have them proofread it. And developmental editing is something that when a editor will get in and look at the direction you're going and compare it to what you've done in the past and analyze your voice and look at your writing and say, maybe you could do things different over here, or where are you missing it? Why are you going off track here? You know, and Claude is another large language model that I use, who's just developmental editing is his thing. And he just nails it. He just tells me, no, you're off track here. This is not you. You're missing it completely. You got to go over here. And he'll point me in directions, but he won't do it for me. And he's a great writer.
Yeah.
If he did it, he'd be good at it, but it still wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
So that it has allowed me to leverage myself without spending $5,000 to $10,000 that I
Yes,
don't really have. I don't have
it cuts
$10,000.
out the middleman. That's what it does. It's
That's
cutting
what
out the
it's
middleman.
doing. It. And the editors that are so upset about it never offered me to share the risk with me so I could give them royalty shares.
Yeah, scrap that noise.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And so, but you want me to pay for it. You want me to
Mm-hmm.
take all the risk,
And you just collect dividends of it.
and
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
good.
get paid for my risk.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair.
It ain't fair. It's not at
So the
all.
people who are crying and screaming about AI writing stuff, first of all, don't know much about AI. And second of all, I question how much they know about writing.
Yeah.
Except maybe as an editor that gets paid per whatever they do and not waiting for royalties.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there's a big picture to that.
Yeah.
And I think AI is going to help a lot of little guys, little
Businesses.
people
Yeah.
who don't have all the access to the power and the money, and it's going to give them some leverage. And I'm all for that.
I agree 100%, man.
And I'll tell you this too, for the editors that embrace it instead of run from it and hide from it or point fingers at it, they're going to be better too because they're going to be able to edit far more things than they could before.
Yeah.
And it's going to enhance their ability to edit. So anyway, that's kind of how I see it in a nutshell. So yes,
Roger
I
that.
use it to leverage myself and to cut down on costs because
Yeah.
they were so abrasive.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, like I said, you know, to me, this thing's a tool, hands down a tool to help you out as much as possible. You know, for anybody when it comes to editing, podcasting, whatever, even like fixing like mechanical stuff. You know, I've had a fix on my lawnmower. Like crap, I run into an issue. I'll go on YouTube, can't find it. Go into freaking Chat GPT. Hey, how does that and that and that work? And then boom, it brings it up. Like, oh shoot, okay, I can do this, I can do that. It brings up your whole creative side that you get like a block.
I
You know,
take
you're not
pictures of when
thinking
I
of it.
have things go wrong at
Yeah,
home. I'm not very good at that. I take pictures of it and it tells me what's wrong.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. It's like, God dang, man,
So,
think of all
but
the freaking man
it's
hours I could have saved.
it's pre-trained. It's pre-trained on lots of data that you don't need to look up yourself.
I know it's great, man. Okay, so what I want to know is, let's jump in this 3-eye atlas.
Okay, great.
Let's do it. So, what is your opinions on 3-eye atlas? What do you think it is? Stuff like
I
that.
I
Going through.
watched it close through
Yeah.
until it went behind the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, while it was going past Mars, although a lot of the stuff you see on Facebook is BS.
Yeah. A lot of it's
Facebook is just full of hype.
AI, all that crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff is hyped, and so I just got sick of trying to read between the lines. I think NASA covers things up and hides stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they're just ridiculous. And I'm sick of hearing, what is it when they balance each other? What's that called? Peer review. I'm so
Peer
sick of the
review.
word peer
Yeah.
review. All that means to me is that now we don't have to talk about anything.
Yeah.
And so I have just kind of stuck going on. I don't believe what NASA's saying, but I also don't believe the hype on Facebook. Okay. So I don't really know. I know it's acting funny. I know it's acting like a comet never has acted. I know there's certain chemical things going on, and there might be some trajectory things going on that are very strange, that have caused a lot of eye opening by scientists. Okay. But I don't know much about what it's done since it's got back around the sun and it's heading back out of the solar system. And so I'm a little bit flying blind on that end, and if you've been paying closer attention. But it is very strange. It's definitely from out of our solar system.
It is.
It's probably from a long ways away. And
Okay,
although
so
it's going fast by our standards.
yeah,
By universal galactic standards, it's very slow.
yeah.
And if it
So
had to go at that pace to get here, it's been traveling a long time.
yeah. So I was doing some like deep diving on that, and I always, Tim, you know me, I'm Christian. I go by the Bible, so a lot of people were putting out crap, in my opinion, like, oh, this is wormwood, this is all this stuff biblically, right? I'm like, okay, you guys have got to read it in order to realize what you're saying. There are certain steps that have to happen. We haven't not had that happen yet. So many steps that had to happen. Okay, to me, this isn't an asteroid that's going to hit the Earth. Wrong. It's not.
It's billions, it's millions of miles away.
Yeah, it's huge.
It
It's
never
far
got
away. It's far away.
never got close that
No.
I know.
Yeah, so you all have like these doom and gloom, like these. Then to me, in my opinion, oh gosh, like you're freaking scare porn freaks out there. Anyways, so have you ever heard of like the wow signal?
I heard about that, and
Yes.
I didn't know what to make of it and whether it was hype or real. It's hard to
Okay.
know. So
Okay, yeah. So let's say if it was real, right? So what I was reading and what certain people were saying was that, okay, example, did you watch the podcast with the Joe Rogan when he had some astrophysicists, like some top astrophysicist on there?
I heard about it.
Okay. Well, he was talking about that and they were actually conversating about that. So what happened was when they got this signal, they sent a signal back, and it turns out that this 3-eye atlas came from that same area. They
Yeah.
don't know if it's the same certain galaxy, but it was on the path of the same area that the wow signal came from. But what's crazy was that he was talking about how asteroids and comets work. Like they get faster and faster as they pass by each planet or star because of their gravitational pull. It's almost like the slingshot method, is what he said.
Yeah.
So as soon as they pass, it almost slingshots them faster because of the gravitational pull. But from what he said, and what NASA was stating, but from what he said, since he was tracking it, was that it's probably the fastest thing they've captured ever since they could, when
That's
it
what
came
I've
to
heard.
astrophysicists
That's
and
what I've
stuff
heard.
like that. Yeah.
I've heard that.
And and
Yeah,
it hasn't stopped.
Yeah,
And
which is understandable if something's coming from outside of our solar system, and all we typically track is things in our solar system.
yeah,
So it's possible that it could be going a lot faster.
yeah. But what's crazy though, what tripped me out was at first they did some like mathematical equations on it, and they were wrong on the freaking size of it. And then it turns out it's like the size of like Manhattan or something like that.
Yeah.
You're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me this thing's big. But as far as that, they're also talking about how there's certain chemical makeup of it. Because they have the equations and stuff to figure out on what type of asteroid it is, like certain metals, stuff like that. But it wasn't on. So basically, they looked at it, and according to like their equations and stuff, they're like, well, this is something when it comes to our metals and the things that are on the periodic table. This is something that's actually like made. It's not natural, it's made. But like he said though, he's like, but we're only be able to track and to test things that are in our solar system. This came from out of our solar system and another one. So this is like brand new to us.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I don't know. But to me, there's like more questions than there are answers. And when it came to it going behind the sun and they lost track of it, that's where I'm at with you. Like I kind of like lost track of it on what they said and what happened. People were actually being quiet. And I find it funny that NASA and certain places like SpaceX and all that stuff were going to release footage of it and pictures of it. And all of a sudden the government shut down and then they can't do it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah. Anyways,
I don't know.
I don't know either. But
I find a lot of that funny too. So I take a lot of it with a grain of salt because
exactly.
I'm so suspect of everything they do.
Oh man, 100%.
So I just have to do the best I can to dig my way through it. And
but
one of the things to keep in mind, just for perspective's sake, is just because we're only now being able to see these things doesn't mean they haven't been happening for a long time. And I'll tell you, there've been asteroids going through our system for millions of years that came from other systems. But we are just now being able to detect and measure it. So now it surprises us. Okay. But we've had 3 of them that we've detected and measured. And 2 of those acted very strange. Okay. Yeah. And this is one of them. This is the 3rd. There's going to be more.
Yeah, it's going to
It's
be
going to become more natural for us to know that these are happening. And so part of it is the novelty. Part of the hype is surrounding novelty. But they're not going to be as novel as they are now in the future. And so it's still fascinating. It's still amazingly interesting. I don't see it as a threat right now.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be alien. If it's alien, they're slow. And they're probably nothing more than a satellite.
Yeah,
On
or like
some kind of
some kind of drone or something like that.
And they're not getting back to where they came from very fast at that speed.
No, to me, if it was alien, I would think they'd be like jumping through portals and stuff like that.
That's what I think. That's where I think the real something to do with portals, because it's impossible for us, even if we had Star Trek speed, warp 8, and that's 8 times the speed of light. That's nothing in galactic distances. It has to be some kind of electro entanglement, quantum physics type phenomena that allows you to fold space or something that's going to allow us to actually travel to other planets and not have to be gone the rest of our lives.
No, I agree 100%, man. Yeah, because to me, that's a long freaking road trip, brother. You got more time.
It is a long ways away. One of the ones we sent off in the 80s, I believe, is now outside our solar system. But it's taken that long, and it's still communicating, but it's taken that long to get out there. And it just, the distances are unimaginable. They're almost beyond our human comprehension.
Yeah.
So that kind of weighs everything down for me.
Yeah, I agree. And when they said it was alien, I was like, I don't know, man. To me, they would have came like I said, like portal jumping or stuff like that. Yeah, to me, that's just too long of a freaking distance to do that. Like you said, it could be a satellite. It could be like some type of drone that takes information and shoots it back to them or whatever. But yeah, to me, they're more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, and if it is, just because it's alien doesn't mean it's intelligent alien.
Nah, you're right.
It's just outside our solar system.
Now, what is all
outside our solar system? Most of reality is outside our solar system.
Yeah. What does old Miss Lexi got to say about 3-Eye Atlas?
She's been more on the NASA side.
I figured.
And so I'm giving it to her, and we go back and forth on that.
Yeah.
But since they're also trained to appeal to you and to try to make you happy, she doesn't go too far on it, and we've mostly just joked around. But she tends to be more toward the peer review side, and I'm more toward the other side. Although not all, some of those both sides I think go off the guardrails. So I just try to keep my mind about me.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Roger that. Well, anything else on that, brother?
No, I think for now I'm kind of coming to the end of my time. So, but I love talking about things like that. So I'd be happy to talk about it again in the future and analyze your stuff also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, like I said, whenever you get done analyzing that, come up with the theory and stuff like that, what you think, and I'll be happy to have you back on again.
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
And then we can actually plug in those videos I sent you, and then we can go over them.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, because I haven't actually released that out to the public yet. So
no, I would love
when
to
I have you back on, we can
Where do you do most of your looking?
So with our expeditions, operations, and stuff like that, we're literally from above Kentucky. Honestly, man, we're kind of getting national wide now. We're going to be hitting up like the way north, West Coast, stuff like that. But the majority of everything is from Kentucky on down, all the way down south to Florida. That's kind of the areas we're at.
On the
to Louisiana, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get close to Louisiana, Texas border, let me know. I'd like to come over and join you.
We could, okay, we can definitely plan out something for sure,
And
man.
the
We can definitely
sequel,
plan
the
out
sequel
something.
is going to be in East Texas, which is on
Nice.
that Texas, is it Louisiana, yeah, Texas, Louisiana. There's a lot. That's the most activity that you have in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, definitely will. We definitely have to plan it out because,
Okay.
yeah, like I said, I get now that CW operations is kind of popping off. I'm kind of getting like a bunch of emails, and what's funny is these people just right down the road. 'Cause I live out in the county, like Wake County, and these people like right down the road. They're about like 20 minutes away from me. They've been having problems for God knows how long. They said, and their family's been on this farm for like I think for like a couple like generations, like almost 200 years. So, but as far as that, they have like cave systems in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have no idea where they go. So,
Yep.
when it comes to Bigfoot and cryptids and stuff, I know they use cave systems. But anyways, yeah. So yes, we got to attack that, and then there's two other ones. But we
Well,
definitely do want to go down southwest for sure.
touch. There's a lot going on down here. Okay.
Yeah, for sure, man. Other than that, before we go, where can people find you at? They got any questions? They need to hit you up. Where can people find you at, man?
Email that I left, timsmoon@gmail. I'm happy to answer any questions. They won't be bothered. Okay.
That'll work, brother. Yeah, like I said, yeah, whenever you get done, take your time on those videos and just let me know, man.
I'll do it.
Get you back on.
Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great week. Okay.
All right, Tim. You too, brother.
Talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that's that. All right, guys. I'm glad to have Tim Moon back on. Hope you guys are good to go. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a blessed week and you guys are good to go. If you guys got any questions or anything like that, I will have his stuff up in the show notes. And other than that, guys, yeah, like I said, you guys need anything like that, you guys need to ask any questions or you guys anything at all comes a prayer request, you guys want to be on the show, anything like that. You guys got any cryptid problems? Let me know. You guys got any spiritual warfare problems? Let me know. Just go ahead and shoot me an email, cryptidwarfare@gmail.com, cryptidwarfare@gmail.com, or C.WOPPS17905@gmail.com. And hope you guys have a good week. You guys need anything, let me know. And just remember, guys, Ephesians 6:12, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, authorities, and rulers of the air in the heavenly places, guys. Keep your head on the swivel. Stay dangerous physically. Stay dangerous spiritually. Remember, Jesus wins in the end. So hope you guys got a blessed week. Be safe out there. Stay frosty. We'll catch you guys later. Out.